panel for this evening. With me now in the studio here on set, Laurie A. Watkins, former Defense Department official under the Obama administration and president of the LFW Strategies, and also Angie Wong, live from Miami. She's a Republican committee woman and a Republican strategist. Thanks very much to both of you for joining us here on the program. Angie, I'd like to come to you first. There has been a bit of conflicting reports from the Iranian side, from the White House as well. What do you make of where we are, and in terms of the disconnect that seems to be there between what's being said at the White House and what's being said from the Iranian side?
Yes, when we first heard of a potential peace plan on Monday, President Trump didn't know who he was talking to, because right now we're not sure who the Iranian leader is. And that's a huge problem, because on Monday, the foreign minister said he wasn't aware of any talks with the U.S. So it took a couple of days, but it looks as though we've kind of pressured them to basically find a natural negotiator through mediators in Pakistan. So there are talks. So we're making progress, right? At least now we know what both sides want. Trump with his 15-point plan, and now Iran with their 5-point counter. Now, the two sides are still very, very far apart. I don't see President Trump going for a complete ceasefire, a lifting of sanctions, and a complete withdrawal from the Middle East. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's the ask. So right now, I think that at least we're at the table, which we're very, very happy about. At least there are now discussions. But also, time is on the side of the U.S. Trump is still moving active military special forces into the region. These 5 days are critical to get them in, because there's still one mission that has not been accomplished, which is finding the uranium. So I think that is the next phase of this.
Laurie, Angie pointed out that there has been progress. We heard from Caroline Levitt earlier on today, where she said talks have been productive. Do you agree? Is that how you also see it?
I don't know if they've been productive. I still see that there is a huge delta, a disconnect, as you both were saying. But, you know, Iran is signaling that it's open to de-escalation talks, but on very specific terms. It's unwilling to engage on issues, it is willing, to engage on issues like sanctions relief, on regional stability, while holding firm on what they believe is their sovereign right to maintain uranium enrichment. And I just want to bring up that this is kind of the problem that I'm having, and also members of Congress. And this is not at all a Democrat-Republican issue. The JCPOA under the Obama administration that President Trump in his first term decided to pull out of, that had guardrails, that had very specific points that the Iranians were actually adhering to. Donald Trump wants zero enrichment, full stop. In that JCPOA, though, they accepted enrichment at 3.67%. They maintained limited stockpile. They also operated under strict inspections. You had the International Atomic Energy Commission coming in there, and they were doing routine checks on their enrichment capabilities. The original deal worked because it accepted reality that Iran would have limited enrichment under strict oversight. Now there has been no oversight ever since he pulled out. And so that is a problem. And I think that's part of what got us to the point, and to the enrichment levels, and to the aggression that they have been under, is because we pulled out of the deal. They had nobody holding their feet to the fire.
I just want to move to another aspect, which could be the developing point as we move ahead and as we look ahead, and that is the issue of additional troops heading to the region, something that's been talked about, something that is a sensitive point. Angie, earlier today, the Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace opposed any plans of deployment of U.S. troops, and that perhaps would reflect the view of many who have been core Donald Trump supporters. How big a factor is that likely to be as President Trump contemplates what to do next?
I think President Trump and his team needs to tell the Americans why we're going in there, why boots on the ground is necessary. So phase one, most of the operation was done air and water. But if we are going to find uranium, it's going to be likely underground. We're going to need boots on the ground there. And I think that has to be communicated very well to Americans for there to be support. Right now, we're kind of kept in the dark as to the operations, which is completely understandable. But we're hearing that Marines, Special Forces are now going to be deployed there, and they may be there already. So I think just a better communication line with Americans, and then we would support our president, and certainly we would support our troops.
All right.